It is day 9 of the historic impeachment trial of Ken Paxton, and of course, one of the most important because closing arguments were this morning. Paxton's political fate now in the hands of 30 senators in the Texas Senate.
Our Victor Jacobo has been at the Capitol from the start of this trial, and he joins us live now with the latest from this historic day. And Victor, what is the atmosphere like in the chamber?
Yeah, it's been very tense today. Today I saw the most people in there and here at the Capitol since really that first day of the impeachment trial. That includes members of the press and members of the media from all across the state. But also we've had the most big players in that Senate chamber all in one room for the first time really since that first day. That includes Ken Paxton himself. Now, Paxton was present for the morning of that first day of the trial, but he's been absent ever since. Today, he has been seated in between his defense attorneys. Now, also in the gallery are some of the whistleblowers who testified in this trial. Now, as closing arguments were delivered, I could see Senator jurors taking notes and paying close attention. This is the last chance for attorneys to persuade jurors to convict or acquit. Paxton's defense cast the impeachment as a political power grab, while the prosecutors summarized the alleged abuse of office by Paxton.
When it came to Nate Paul, Ken Paxton abandoned and betrayed his trust in knowledgeable staff, his conservative principles, and his commitment to family values, the law, and his oath of office.
I would suggest to you this is a political witch hunt. I would suggest to you that this trial has displayed for the country to see a partisan fight within the Republican Party.
Now, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said right before he let the senator jurors out for deliberations that he expects them to work until 8 o'clock tonight. If no verdict then they come back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and work through pretty much into the evening. If still no verdict, they'll come back on noon on Sunday. And Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said that he may sequester them to have them sleep overnight here Sunday into Monday if they still haven't reached a verdict by then. I'll send it back to you.
It could be a long series of days and nights ahead. We shall see. Victor Jacobo there in Austin. Thank you. And we are joined now by KHOU 11 political analyst Brandon Rottinghouse, and I'm just going to put you on the hot seat right here, right now, because you know what everybody out there is asking. Do you think he'll be found guilty on any of these articles of impeachment?
That's the million-dollar question. It's really hard to know. We've seen a lot of evidence. We've seen a bunch of witnesses. There's been the politics swirling all around it. I hesitate to guess as to how it's going to go, but I will say that it's a question of two things. Number one, politics, right? That's obviously the subtext for all of this. The senators have to think about not just kind of the politics of Ken Paxton, but also their own careers. We know partisanship is pretty rigid, so usually that's going to be how things go. The other is the sufficiency of the evidence. There are 16 articles they're going to consider here, and so there are details that obviously have to be pulled out from each, and it's a lot. And that's really where the jury is now. They have to think about whether or not there's enough here. At the end of the day, what we're really talking about here is just a handful of senators, probably 3 to 5 of them who are maybe flippable. You know, you have 6 in Paxton's camp. You know, you've got 12 Democrats you're probably going to vote against. Really, it's a handful of people here. And whether there's persuasion going on, whether it's just information sharing, we don't really know. But we do know that it's really going to come down to just a handful of votes for each of these.
So it sounds like what you're saying here is, you know, they're considering their political futures as well.
They have to. And we know that there's been a lot of pushback on this. We're seeing ads, we're seeing mailers, we're seeing tweets. So this is something we're definitely going to see today and going through 2024.
All right. Thank you so much. Our political analyst, Brandon Rottinghouse, joining us with that breakdown.